Hello. This is really one of my favourites. I mean, it just is. I just love it. It's just reminds me of those other ones with the flashy lights and it's bright and then just disappears. Anyway, it happened in '77 and it was recorded by the O Journal in Portugal, in Lisbon, and it was actually recorded in September but happened in August '77. And it was seen by four people who reported it. So it was quite documented, and it was, it's still out there, but not very popular. I don't know why, because I just think this one's really brilliant. It's a really good UFO spotting. It was dark night, but here goes. It was like I say, it was in Portugal, and let me just have a look. A place you probably know it better than I will. I don't know where this place is. In Torres Nova, driving from Fatima to Torres Nova. I don't know where that is in Portugal. I ain't got the faintest. Portugal's lovely though, I know that, but I don't know where that is. Anyway, it was night time and they were going home. It was a man and wife and the brother-in-law and the sister-in-law, and the chap were driving. And like I said, dark sky and it was clouded over, so it wasn't a good sky. It wasn't a good night to see anything. But anyway, they were going home and it was quiet in their car because they'd had a good night and tired. And anyway, as they were going that corner, the chap who was driving instantly saw a bright light, a bright yellow light. I thought, oh, it's an helicopter. What's that doing? So low as that. So I went a bit further and further around the corner, thinking, oh, it'd be exciting to see that. And he told everybody, and they were looking around. And as they got around the next corner, they saw it there, just right in front of them, and they kept going and going, and slowed down and stopped. He wasn't speeding; it sounded like the gentleman never speeds. And the object, UFO object, came closer and closer, and it got bigger. He described it getting bigger, not just because it got closer, but the object actually got bigger. Um, it just got bigger. I don't know why. Nobody seems to know why. But the thing just got bigger, the old object. So it got closer and closer, and he got frightened. They all got a bit, well, you wouldn't you really? But it was offering off the ground, and it gave off three emitting beams. And even though the craft was yellow in colour, yellowish in colour, but it was incredibly bright, and the three beams that came down, they were less yellow than the craft. They were still yellowish, but less so, but incredibly bright. Anyway, so they got frightened and drove off, not fast but slowly. And as they drove off, the object then kept at the same height, very low, and it just offered parallel to them. So the car's there and this object outside of them. So they had a really good look at it, and they looked at it for not long. This only lasted 2 or 3 minutes, so it sounds a long while, but didn't last too long. But long enough to see it wasn't a few seconds out to corner's eye, and there's four of them, so they really had good luck, and it was only a few yards away. Anyway, the object, this yellowish object, which was bright, they didn't say it with disc or round, they just described it as being a big bright light. That's what they described. Anyway, it went past them, just going forward. So they stopped the car, and now they were really frightened, and anybody would, and it was just in front of them. And again, it started to come closer and closer, and then they got really frightened. So they decided to get going again. Tried to start the car, but he stalled it. Got it going, went a little bit faster this time, and over time it happened again. And I thought, well, what do I do now? And so they decided just to stop the car, and he stalled it again. He stalled it again. And Robitaille, he saw another car right in the distance, and he thought, "Oh, I hope they all up so they can see it," sort of thing as well. It's got witnesses. And as they got close to the car right beyond her, this object, it's all bright, incredibly bright, they describe, and like a yellowish colour. The three beams what was coming from it disappeared before, then the old craft just disappeared. It says they all formed, so it never moved upwards or left or right. I didn't see it go. It just disappeared. It just went. It just vanished. It didn't go incredibly fast anywhere. It just went boom and it gone. And that was unusual. I mean, that was it. Just reminds me again of that story. When a few stories ago, when my whole physics teacher said there was a bright light coming through his car when he was a student, and it sort of went through his car, caught up with him, went through his car, and it never went any further. Never saw it again. It's as if it vanished. Exactly the same. That's why I 100% believe this is true. I mean, 4 grown-up adults, nothing. They're not. There wasn't storytellers. Never done it before. Not into UFOs. I just think it's a good story, and they had a really good thing of it. Why it's so popular, I'm not sure. Maybe because it only lasted 2 or 3 minutes. It's a shame because it's got everything there. Clear vision because it's just there. Followed them down the road, so that interaction, and 3 beams coming off it. And think of the beams. Was that the what? I've come across powder myself. I wonder if that's the beams. Are they leaving some sort of powder behind or something? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Maybe it's a different time. But I think some of them are like we all do, man-made, but maybe this one wasn't. Maybe this was the real McCoy. And certainly when it just vanished, incredibly. So that was interesting. But I tell you what, it happened on an intersection called Fida, Fida, Vidah. Now I don't know whether that's in Portugal. Maybe it's changed because, like I say, we're looking at 50 years ago. So if anybody got any ideas where that is, that'd be brilliant. Or any more stories to that one, because that's one of my favourite ones, because I totally believe it. Yeah, brilliant. So they only seen it for 2 or 3 minutes, but when you're that close to it and something so unusual, you're never going to forget it, are you? It's there, and whether you've seen it for 2 minutes or 2 hours or 2 days, it's going to be stuck in your head. The car behaved perfectly. This described. It didn't break down. I mean, it stored only because it was frightened. It didn't. The lights didn't go off. The engine never went off. It just behaved normally. They didn't see anybody get out of the craft. Didn't do anything. As such, I just saw that. But it's enough, isn't it? It's enough to. It makes us think, oh, what is up there then? And how far are they away? And so yeah. But anyway, I hope you like the story. It's just looking at these little notes. But yeah, I love it anyway. Again, it's in Portugal, which they've had loads of sightings there, absolute loads. But anyway, I hope you like it. If you do know anything more about this story, more than I do, which you probably well will you let me know, because I'd be fascinated to find out more. Anyway, thank you. Bye bye.